as you can see, here beside me today is our 2020 Dodge Hellcat Widebody. Man, this thing is badass, let me tell you. So, how did we get here? Well, I'll tell you, we started with a 2020 Charger Hellcat, 707 horsepower, all the options. It's got a sunroof, it's got everything that normally comes on a Charger Hellcat. And then we said, how do we make this one of the coolest Hellcats out there? Well, we did that by starting with a graphics package, and then we teamed up with the guys at Forza Performance who did some engine modifications, some suspension modifications, and we topped that off with the guys from ACC who did an engine package for us that really highlights what's going on under there, plus some interior modifications. So, I tell you what we'll do. We're going to take this car in depth, step by step, front to back, and show you everything that we've got in this really cool Hellcat. All right, starting at the front of the car, as you can see, you'll notice it's got this really cool graphics package on it. It's in slate gray and striped in orange. That's to match the calipers that are on the car. It has an APR front splitter on it, made out of carbon fiber. The guys at APR were nice enough to literally to make us, I think, the first one for one of these 2020 Hellcat Chargers. So that's a really, really cool piece. And you notice it's low to the ground. Yes, this car has been lowered, and we'll probably talk about that here some more in a minute. One of the other things that's really neat about this car is, here, let me do this for you here. Of course, we have put light kits in this car, so there is a LED headlight kit in this car that is really super cool. I won't go everything, but the orange matching lights, but then we can make this do everything. This is a 200 setting LED kit that comes in here. It is really, really super cool. So let's go back over here. We'll just change that back so we're not freaking anybody out. In addition to that, we also have a full LED light kit, underbody light kit, and under the hood light kit on this car. It goes all the way around. It's in the grille. It's in the openings for the hood. Very, very super cool on this car. So let me turn those back off. And let's see, we'll keep going here. Very cool function. All operates off your phone, which is really neat. One of the other things you'll notice is this really cool badge from Billet Badges out of California. They made this for us. It's a one-of-a-kind Hellcat badge that we affixed to the front of this car. Really neat stuff. Now, here is kind of the million-dollar part about this car. When we sent this car out when it was brand spanking new over to our friends at Forza-tuned here in Clearwater, and what they did is they put in their Stage 4R kit. So basically on a stock 707 horsepower Hellcat, what you get is you get your supercharger gets ported and polished. You get a new snout. You get a new cold air intake, you get new injectors, you get new plugs, you get a new thermostat, you get new belts. We've got an oil catch can on here. The whole thing, they go through this thing and they do a whole lot of engine upgrades on this. In addition, we had this thing while it was over at Joker's Performance. They were kind enough to do a really cool design on this on the supercharger itself that we asked them to do. So it's both powder coated and Cerakoted to get the right look and make sure it's going to maintain the way it's supposed to be. Really neat. This it's called a leg maker cold air intake. It's all carbon fiber. Gives this thing a supercharger scream that you would not believe. So in the end, you're getting just over 1,000 horsepower out of this motor on 93 pump gas, and it is absolutely amazing to drive. And I would be remiss while I was up front if I didn't mention our friends at ACC, American Car Craft. They were kind enough to do all of this black brushed aluminum and carbon fiber inserts that we have in here. We've got some up front. We've got the Hellcat one here. We've got a 1,000 horsepower wide body one here. We've got one covering the box for the coolant over there. Just a lot of really nice stuff in here that really accents the way this engine looks. It is absolutely stunning. So, with that said, let's move on from the motor and let's go around the side of the car. One of the many things among many things that makes this car really cool is the fact that it's a wide body. And I know we said that up front, but what's different about a wide body? Well, if you haven't seen one on the street, you haven't been into your local Dodge dealer to see one, here's what is really different. You get a brand new nose for 2020. You get these molded, this is molded into the bumper itself. Then you get these full side skirts. And of course, then you've got a molded rear piece, the side skirt that runs all the way down the length of the car and then into the fender flares on the back, and then that's molded into the rear bumper. So it's more than just taking a set of fender flares and smacking them on this car. And I've seen kits out there where guys have done this, and it looks okay, but it doesn't flow like this car does because this is a factory hot rod car. And I really believe that. So that's one of the things that makes this super cool. From the side of the car now, you can see that, that this car is much, much lower. This does have 305 3020s on it, I believe. Yeah, it does. All the way around on these really cool, very carbon-looking rims with the orange calipers. These are Brimbos. They are 6-piston up front, 4-piston in the rear. And so they will bring these horses down to a whoa pretty quickly. But that's a lot of tires stuffed up in there. A couple of the other Hellcats that we've done, we've swapped these 305s out for 315s. I was just worried about we wouldn't have enough room up under here and we would start rubbing on something. Moving on back here, let's see, custom. These are full custom painted to match emblems for all the rest of the orange that's on this car. Really neat. You can see we've got the custom Hellcat on here. This one was done in flat black with the big orange eye. It matches everything else, flows back into the back of this car. Really, really cool. As you open the door too, you get the Hellcat that projects onto the floor. And these are in all 4 doors. Really, really cool. And then you've got more accessories here from ACC, which we'll show you in a moment. So, speaking of that, let's go ahead and jump inside and we'll talk about what's inside this cool car. Okay, as you can see as we're sitting in the car here now, this thing is just so super cool. You've got the carbon fiber plates here with the orange lighting. You've got the carbon fiber around your gauge cluster. There's all the white stitching that's normally in here on all your seats and all your dash and everything else. All that's been changed over to orange to match the theme of this car. Cool SRT in orange right on the steering wheel. So lots of stuff has gone on in here. We put a Mr. Norm's Hurst shifter in here, a pistol grip shifter, really cool piece. But one of the things that we didn't talk about when we were up front was, one of the things that makes this thing sound so cool is the fact that, yes, we did put long tube headers on it, and it does have high flow cats on it. And believe it or not, we left the stock exhaust from the cats after the cat's back, just so that we could keep that noise down a little bit. This thing is still pretty loud, but it's really neat. It's a super comfortable car. I mean, where else are you going to get a 4-door car with 1,000 horsepower that literally you can drive to the grocery store and do whatever you want and then flip it over and hang your red key out there. There's your red key right there. Get your red key going. Change this thing up to 1,000 horsepower, take it to the track and outrun just about anything out there. This car is super well appointed, like we talked about a little while ago. Here, let me just bring a little bit of it to life here. All right, well, I told you it was a little loud. You press this SRT button here, and basically what you get is you get this entire racing setup for your car. Basically, what your drive modes. Okay, what mode is it in? That's Eco, there's your custom mode, there's your sport mode, and there's your track mode that changes up all your things. Now, you do also have a custom tune both in the engine and the transmission on this car. As soon as you go up to sport on here, it does unleash 1,000 horsepower. Your shifts are gonna get a lot firmer. Your suspension's gonna get a lot firmer. And when you go to track, it is full on beast mode for this car. It is gonna be right straight out of a whole shot, out of any race car that you've ever launched. Really cool stuff. So let me go back to the dashboard here. You also have performance pages here. You've got race options. This is your shift light. You can set up where you want your shift points to be, and you get an indication in your heads up on your dash here that tells you when you've reached the shift points for where you want to shift in each gear. Of course, this also has the cooling for your supercharger built in for your supercharger, so that when you put this thing in track mode, what it does is it turns your air conditioner on, takes all that air conditioning, and it ducts it through your supercharger and keeps your supercharger cool, so that keeps your air intake temps down, which means you're making more and more horsepower. Of course, this car does have a line lock. It does have launch control. It is a full-on drag car when you want it to be. Absolutely amazing car. You know, you can get all your stuff up here in the dash too. Your performance pages when they come on here will give you your setup for gauges. You can run them through your dash instrumentation as well. And yeah, this does have a really nice radio in it. Has a stereo in it. I don't know if I've ever really listened to stereo in this car. I'm too busy listening to the engine itself because it is so mesmerizing. So before we jump out of the car, let me start it up for you one more time, just so you can kind of get another feel for that. So unbelievably cool. Hard to imagine stepping back down to a normal Hellcat with only 700 horsepower after you've driven something like this. Taking a look at the rear of this car, which if you're out driving it on the street, most people are it's all they're probably gonna see of it, except the flash going by them, is really cool. I really love the rear end of this. From the wraparound lights to this APR rear spoiler, all in carbon fiber, beautiful, just a great piece. Of course, the stripes roll, they flow all the way back through here, and they go up under the spoiler. You've got this really cool flat black piece back here that matches the rest of it. Custom Hellcat here, custom badging on the back. Of course, the exhaust ports on this thing are huge, helps expel all of those exhaust gases. Now, one of the other things I wanted to show you back here is something really neat. When you pop the trunk open, you'll notice that there are 2 batteries in this trunk. One of them runs the car like a normal battery does, but what we've done is we've put a full separate battery in here, and it of course, from our friends at Odyssey Battery, and we've hooked all of the lights to this battery. So your underbody lights, which there are considerable, and then your LED headlights are all hooked to this battery. So when you go to a car show, you leave your lights on all evening, whatever, and then when you go to leave, guaranteed that your car is going to start. So one of the other neat features about this. And of course, you've got this really cool Forza badge back here, letting everybody know that your car is Forza-tuned. Stage 4R, 1,000 horsepower Hellcat going down the road. All right, and there you have it, a complete overview of this amazing 1,000 horsepower Hellcat, built by Forza-tuned, built by our guys here in Dream Giveaway Garage. So we want you to win this car. So go to www.dreamgiveaway.com, get your tickets. You're gonna be entered to win this car. You're gonna be helping out 8 great charities, and we want to put it in your driveway. So remember, www.dreamgiveaway.com. You're in it to win it, and I'll see you next time in the Dream Giveaway Garage.